Hello students, welcome to Sarushi classes. So today we are learning chapter 3 of class 6 NCERT history, that is from gathering to growing food. So what was happened during that time? So in the earliest history we have all in earliest chapters we already seen that people were hunters and gatherers. So then the change was happened in climatic changes were happened in 12,000 years ago, and then there was a change, there was a shift in the climate, so somewhat warmer climate was there, and then there was a rise of farming, and these people started growing crops and all. So basically they identified the edible parts of the plants, then they observed the how seeds breaks, then they observed how plants grow from seeds. They were aware of about the needs of these plants and the water resources, and they were aware about the ripening of crops, that is fruits and vegetables. And also along with that they tamed the animals to protect the grasslands from the wild animals, as there was a threat that wild animals may enter into the grassland. So they tamed animal, and they used this tamed animal to protect these grasslands from the wild animals. Then they also used these tamed animal for producing milks and hides of the animals. They also produced, and they used these animals to fear away another wild animals. And also for taming these animals there was a requirement of food, so again that food was the produced from a farming practices. So what were the important considerations? So there were some important consideration for farming practices, and these were selecting of species that are disease resistant, then preserving seeds, because these plants were not, they were not, all plants were not perennial, they were seasonal. So there was a requirement of preserving these seeds, and when the season comes up they need to sow these seeds and grow these plants. So for that the storage was needed, so preserving seeds was also another important consideration. Then the what were the earliest crops? These were wheat and barley are some of the earliest crops, and the earliest animals reared were sheep, goat, cattle, etc. And remember this, who what was the first animal tamed? It was a dog. Then the storage was also an important element. So how did they stored? So they stored, how we can say, nowadays also we store our grains and things in our means a big boxes and all, we store these things. So at that time where these people store their seeds and things they want to store, so basically they store these things into clay pots and earthen pots, and they they made some baskets of woods and bar, and they use these baskets for storage purpose. Even they dug holes in the ground, like this they dug the holes in the ground, and they used to store these grains and seeds into these holes. So here you can see the Burza home, which is in present day Kashmir, where remains of cattle, goats, buffalo, sheep, and dogs were found, where we come to know that these were the animals which were reared during these times. Then the another was Chiran, which is in present day Bihar, and where wheat, green gram, barley, buffalo, oxes remains were found. Let me show you these in the map. Here you can see in Burjaham, which is in the present day Kashmir, where the animals and cattle and wheat and all these things were found. And here you can see Chiran here somewhere here in the present day Bihar. So these are some of the locations. Let us discuss another locations, another sites. So here Mehagar, which is in present day Pakistan, where the wheat, barley, sheep, goats, and cattle were found. Let me show you it into the map. Here you can see in the present day Pakistan, it is near the Bolan Pass, Iran, somewhere here. So you can find it nowadays. Iran is here and Pakistan is here. So remember this. Then the next site is Koldiva, which is in the present day Uttar Pradesh, and also Mahagara, which is also in the present day Uttar Pradesh, where rice fragmentary animal bones were found. And here also rice and the cattle were found. Let me show it to you in the map. Here you can see in the Uttar Pradesh, Koldiva and Mahagara were these sites. Then the next is Guf Gufkral, which is in present-day Kashmir, where the wheat and the lentil was found, and the Burzaham, which I already show you, where wheat and lentil and dog and cattle and sheep and buffalo remains were found. Again in the Chiran, in which is present-day Bihar, where wheat, green gram, barley, buffalo ox were found. In Hallur, which is in present-day Andhra Pradesh, the name itself indicates the Hallur. You can imagine that it is somewhere belongs to South India. So where millets, cattle, sheep, goat and pig were remains of these were found. Then the Payampalli, it is again you can guess that this is something related to South India. So it is again in present day Andhra Pradesh, where black gram, millets, cattle, sheep and pigs remains were found. Here I'll show it in the map. Here you can see the Hallur, and here below this you will find Payampalli, where these things were found. So there were kind of these people living kind of settled life in the Burzaham, where you will find, which is in present day Kashmir, where you will find peat houses, and dug in these houses were dug into ground, and with steps leading into them. So these pit houses helped these people to protect them from cold waves that are coming. Then the Neolithic tools were of fine cutting edge for mortars and pestles to grind the grains. Then these earthen pots were used for cooking purposes and the storage purposes. And clothes and weaving cotton was prevalent, and they were kind of living sedentary life like farming and herding. So the next is customs and practices. What type of customs and practices they were doing in that time? So these people were lived in groups as a tribe, and that had a leader. So the work of women and children and men were kind of different. So what a woman did at that time, woman was busy in agricultural work. They used to prepare ground, sow seeds, etc., thresh, husk and grind grains. Then the children's were looking after plants and drive away animals, whereas men were doing large herds of animals in search of pasture. And some of the works where men and women were doing together were cleaning of animals and milking and making pots and baskets and tools and herds. So we'll have a look at some case studies. First is Mehegar. So Mehegar, I already shown it to you in map. Here you can see Mehegar. It is near the Bolan Pass in the Iran. So we have learned that here in that time those earliest people were learned to grow barley and wheat and rear sheep and goats and cattle for the first time. So this is the site where earliest people learned to grow barley and wheat for the first time. Then the bones of deer, pig, sheep and cattle were found here, and the houses were kind of square and rectangular. Four, or here you can see in this picture, four or more compartments and storage were there. Then these people were believed in the life after death. So burial sites were found. These were buried with the animals were found. So you can see here is the skeleton of a person, where along with this animal skeleton was also found. So with this we came to know about the earliest people. Then another case study was Daujali Heading, which is on the hills near the Brahmaputra Valley. It is near the routes to China and Myanmar. Let me show you it into the map. Here it is somewhere here in Daujali Heading. You can see here the location of Daujali Heading in the northeastern side. So their stone tools were used for the mortaring and pestle, for mortar and pestle. Then these people grow grains and prepare foods, and the jadeite stone was brought from China. And The next is tools of fossil woods and pottery. So these tools were kind of wood, so and the pottery was also in the use. So with this we have come to an end with this chapter. Thank you. If you like these videos, please like, share and subscribe, and we'll meet in next chapters. Thank you.